The wonderful things about the Ballingland Foundation is that it encourages the artist to bring his or her family and any friends that he or she wishes to have. So whomever those are, they are welcome to stay and they will put up for free. So it's a wonderful.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, they do. That's a wonderful thing that they do encourage, which is really nice. But even you have that, and you still feel you have an extraordinary amount of time solitary.
It's so valuable, those experiences. Yeah.
More questions?
Any more questions? We don't want to keep you all too long. I'm so glad you came out.
And I wanted to hear a little bit more about how you first approached going to Iceland. You've been back several times now, but in such a unusual, for Ireland, I think being in a remote area, it's a little unusual too, but a lot of people are more familiar with Ireland. But Iceland is a little more extreme. And how did you first feel going there? And do you feel a little more comfortable having been back many times? And is it, are you approaching your work with a deeper understanding now?
Yes. As soon as I went there, I knew it was going to be a rich place for me to explore. I felt just immediately, there's an energy in the earth there that I just never felt it anywhere else. I've fallen in love with a lot of places and painted intensely in a lot of places. Venice. I'm going to live in Venice and die in Venice. And then it was the coast of Brittany in France, and this Brittany so I do tend to be a little monomaniacal when I have an idea. So that's granted. I tend to want to not just have one experience, but to go back and revisit and to go deeper and deeper. It's really working for me. It works for me intellectually, it works for me spiritually. This is really the first place that I felt profoundly affected by nature. And I think it was the proximity to the wilderness. The wilderness is not, it's not anything, I'm not really a risk taker either, and I'm really a city person. But for me, there's this accessibility to the idea of wilderness. And you can stay on the fringes of the wilderness in Iceland and still be in an incredibly silent and beautiful and isolated place. So there's a lot more for me there. And then this project with the manuscripts is definitely a theme that I'm going deeper with as well. So the language, the words, the history of the place is full of interest for me. So beyond just the landscape, but again, for me, it all ties together with having this understanding of place and standing in a moment in time. Because I think when you're in Iceland, is this connection to time, because so little has changed from the people who were standing there before me.
Wow.
And before me, it's the same view. Which is the charm of Venice. It's like you can imagine it has always looked that way, and it's
right.
The charm of the coast of Ireland. You can imagine this has always been this way.
Ireland has, at least in the region that I was in, is filled with Neolithic sites. And in Valley Castle,
It's alive.
one of the greater attractions there was Cage of Fields, which is a Neolithic site, but it has a museum, and it talks about Ireland, prehistoric times, so all the land, the geography and how it changed through those thousands of years. We talk about Rome, time
Layer
of Christ.
and layer and layer
But here you talk
of
about
culture.
Stone
This
Age.
is layer of geological happenings. And I think in my mind, Northern Ireland is linked to Iceland. Through
Right.
that, I think there's a lot of geology that is in common running through that. The basalt columns and the basalt formations, which I
Right.
think, did you see that on the coast? Those five-sided columnar forms?
I don't know if I saw those, yeah.
Okay. In
What-
Scotland, they have some.
Yeah, one thing that really was kind of extraordinary for me was the bog, and how it preserves. So right now they're measuring it to 15 feet. And so down to the ground, or to the foot level is pretty,
Representing
you know,
time.
Stone Age.
That's
So
awesome.
since it's an ecosystem that contains a lot of water, it's a preserver, and so
Right.
they've found many, many bodies and other artifacts, things
Yeah.
that's sort of, bog man.
Yeah. So for me, knowing those things and learning about those things give me a better sense of where I'm standing and what it used. And then the fact that I'm looking at these manuscripts, this is the daily record of someone's daily life, and that person's long gone, and I feel it's just so poignant to be able to look at their notes of a day. And I wanted to just sort of connect my experience with that somehow. So I'm going back in June and July this summer. So I'll experience the longest day of summer, which I'm thrilled about. This was more like in the late fall, or mid-late fall, and then one year I was into the winter, which was just spectacular in terms of the color and the light. But I'm interested to see how the midsummer light is gonna, well, I know I'll be not wanting to sleep at all.
I have a question. I came in late, so I don't know if you've already discussed this, but what prompted you to select Iceland in the first place? Had you known someone that was there? Did you do research on it?
Just that my mother had been there several times.
Okay.
And I never had the chance to go with her, but she always came back telling me I really needed to go. But she knew me, she knew what I would respond to. I think she really knew I would love it, and so.
I love the word you use, monomaniacal. That is so
Yeah.
perfect. I can't stop thinking about that. That is perfect.
It's
I
like a
totally
dog with a
get it.
bone, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let go.
So Roger, are you going to return to Ireland?
I'd like to, yeah. They, a wonderful, I guess, benefit as a fellow for the Ballingland Foundation is that they you can return anytime you
Oh,
would
that's
like.
great. Oh, that's wonderful.
So, yeah, maybe in a couple of years.
How much work did you get done? How many paintings did you do? How many did you do while you were
Well,
gone?
I did actually 9. 2 are owned by the foundation now, so that's why it's 7 here. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
How about you, Andrea? How many pieces did you actually put together while you were there?
There's a bunch of unframed drawings.
Okay.
They're a little bigger. So those will see the light of day eventually. The prints are really in progress, and I'm still working on those. I cut these blocks in Iceland, and I'm doing the printing here in Philadelphia. I printed some in Iceland, but mostly just to
I'm just
get a
curious how much
sense.
work really gets done in that time there, because it's
Less
sounds like
and
so
less.
much else goes on.
Because now I'm understanding the value of
The place.
just walking, just being outside as much as possible and absorbing the influence of
Yeah.
the place. Absolutely. When my first year there, I was like, everyone else was driving around and doing all these tours. I'm like, no one's working in the studio. Come on, people. And so I was like really working hard in the studio. I got a lot done, but I put it in perspective for myself after a while. That
I was curious
it's
about
really.
that.
How long were you there altogether?
I try to stay for 2 months.
Okay.
So, enough time to do everything, and
Yeah.
including a lot of work, but it's really becoming sort of less of a goal. Because I know it's all coming out eventually. how much equipment are you gonna carry with you and
It
how
sounds
cumbersome that
spiritual.
is.
Really
It's a
tough.
very, it is, yeah, very spiritual.
Well, that's one of the challenges is, you have to be inventive.
You have to be inventive, you have to
Because
improvise.
you don't have the facilities that you
Right,
do to do at home.
right,
Yeah.
you're not in your own studio, you don't know what you're gonna find when you get there, or what you'll be able to buy, which in Iceland is basically
Right.
nothing, so,
Ah,
and even where you were, there were no shops, right?
No, in fact.
Art supplies? Go
Only
far
in
for that.
Dublin, which was 3.5 hours away.
wow.
So, takes a lot of planning.
Do you get a car while you're there or no?
I did,
Oh.
so it did, that helped, getting around.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I did was just had things ordered and shipped to the foundation, so just made,
Oh, could you do that? You could order like from Dublin or whatever and say ship it here, ship that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
I think that's fairly new too. I don't think they did that maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, wow, that's
I
lucky.
think because Ballycastle is so remote, it's kind of all the way out of the way. You have
So you
Dublin
don't get
here,
daily
and
deliveries.
then Ballycastle's here.
You don't get daily deliveries.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't get Amazon.
Nah, no Amazon Prime.
Yeah, no, enjoy.
Well, thanks very much,
Thank
guys.
you.
That's great.
Thank you.